Hello everyone and welcome to another 2018 NFL Draft Player Profile. Today we're going to be going over Quenton Nelson, the offensive guard from Notre Dame, who might just be the best all-around prospect in this year's class. He certainly is the safest and is definitely the top offensive lineman that you will find coming out this year. We're going to be breaking down his strengths, weaknesses, and his overall profile. So without further ado, let's get into Quenton Nelson's strengths because there are plenty. It's difficult to narrow down one thing that Quenton Nelson does really well because, to be totally honest, he does every single thing possible for a guard that you could do well. He's incredibly fast, he's incredibly smart, he pulls well, he anchors well, he gets off the snap really quick. He is unstoppable in terms of an overall prospect as a guard. Look, just check out this play. He's going to come across the entire line of scrimmage and decleat a blitzer like he was absolutely nothing. His vision on the offensive line is insane, and his strength is just something else. He's blocking a dude 15 yards down the field and blocks him too well, and then he gets back and tackles Brandon Wimbush before he can get into the end zone. He's the best run blocker of any guard coming out of college that I've ever seen, and his game against LSU might be the most dominating performance of any single player against the team that I saw all year. He will fix any offensive line and might be a future Hall of Famer. When talking about strengths for Quenton Nelson, we could go on for days talking about what this guy does well in the football field, but we'll stick with just 6 for now. And first, he has the ideal build for a guard. He's huge, he's thick, and don't even get me started with how strong he is. This guy could bench press me probably about 100 times, and that gets to our second note. The guy has some incredible strength. He can push just about any D tackle off the ball if need be. He can anchor really well and press when he needs to. He doesn't get beat off the snap. That might be his best overall quality. No one gets a better jump than Quenton Nelson, and even if you do get a better jump off of him, he has the strength and quickness to be able to catch up to you and make sure you don't get to the quarterback or running back or really whoever he's blocking for. The rest of his strengths, he plays angry and aggressive. You should see him finish blocks in college football. He drives people into the ground. It's really impressive. He's unreal in the run game. It's probably his best overall trait on the field, and the fact that if he's in the run game and he's trying to blow someone over, he's going to blow over 3 people. He's going to get the defensive lineman, then the linebacker, then the safety, and drive someone for another 50 yards. There are plenty of plays in the run game where he's just going to block someone down the field like Michael Orr in the blind side. He's that kind of prospect, and I truly believe he's the most complete player in the draft. His technique is sound, he's a smart player, and he keeps his head on straight. I believe that if you're drafting Quenton Nelson, you're drafting your offensive lineman for the future, a leader in your franchise, and someone who's going to help your team for decades to come. I really believe that Quenton Nelson could end up being the best player from the 2018 NFL Draft. Now, we've gone on and on about his strengths. He doesn't have many weaknesses, but there are some that we need to get to, so let's get into his weaknesses. Finding on-field weaknesses for Quenton Nelson is like finding a needle in a haystack. You're just not really going to find many of them. Sure, a couple times you'll see players get farther up the field than him than need be, and they'll blow up plays. And he isn't the best in the screen game because his overall athleticism isn't top tier, but that's about it. He doesn't have a crazy injury history. He doesn't have a problems with his technique. He is the most complete player in the NFL Draft by far. His overall weaknesses, and there aren't really many, starts with the fact that he isn't an elite athlete. I think his biggest problem is that he can't really move as fast as other guards. Maybe someone like a Jason Kelsey who can really drive people off the ball and also get out into open space and just push people down the field. I think his biggest problem is in the screen game, but that's just going to come with coaching and more football. His other weakness is, well, the fact that he's a guard. The positional value in the NFL for a guard is very low. A guard going in the top 10 usually means that he can play other positions, but for Quenton Nelson, he can't play center and he can't play tackle when need be like a Brandon Shred from a couple years ago. So his positional value is definitely a weakness, and really the only other weakness we can call home about is a couple minor past injuries that might flare up in the NFL if not properly taken care of. He's had some knee injuries in the past, but all in all, that's all the weaknesses that you have for Quenton Nelson. He really is that complete of a prospect. So with his strengths and weaknesses in tow, let's get into his full profile. Now that we've gone over his strengths and weaknesses, it's pretty obvious as to why Quenton Nelson is one of the best prospects in the upcoming NFL Draft. So we're giving him a draft grade to go in the first round. I really believe he will be the first offensive lineman taken in this year's draft. I think his ideal fit is with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Get Jameis Winston some offensive linemen. The Bucs O-line has been terrible for the past couple of years. Quenton Nelson will surely help shore it up. And then our player comp for him is Zack Martin. They're strong, they're fast, and they will beat you off the line of scrimmage. Zack Martin, another guard from Notre Dame, has become one of the best offensive linemen in all of football, and we believe that Quenton Nelson should follow suit. Our grade for him as well, he's going to be the #1 offensive lineman taken. The only person that could possibly go ahead of him is maybe an Orlando Brown or maybe a Connor Williams or maybe another tackle if they fly up draft boards recently, just because the positional value of guards is so low. But with that being said, Quenton Nelson should be one of the top 10 picks in the upcoming NFL draft. His most likely teams are the Giants, the Buccaneers, and if he falls out of the top 8, expect the San Francisco 49ers to jump all over him. We believe that he will be a starter coming out of the draft this year. If he isn't starting for you, then you better have the best offensive line in football, because that should be the only thing keeping Quenton Nelson off the field in 2018. I'm Harris Rubenstein. You can follow me on Twitter at SportsTeam for all of your NFL draft news and updates. But for now, we'll see ya.